Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Thank you for being here today. Hope that you're doing well. Welcome to a brand new day of your life. I do hope that you're finding ways to get pleasure and joy into your life right now. This is a challenging time of our lives, but we are in this together, and thank you so much for being here and supporting 60 and Me. Now, today's video is going to be so much fun because it's a topic that I am passionate about. It's about train travel. I am a huge train traveler. I love it so much. I always have. But I was inspired by one of our bloggers, Cynthia Hogg, who wrote about her own experiences with trains. And it inspired me to share really my love of trains and talk a bit about what I think are some reasons for considering that over any other form of transportation. Now, I know some of you don't have access to the same train lines that I have here in Switzerland. We have the most beautiful train system. Almost every village in the country is actually attached or connected by a train station, so we can move around really easily. And in the United States, Canada, it perhaps isn't so easy to use trains as a way of just getting from A to B. But there are enough trains all around the world that I think we can make this an adventure. And I want to share with you about what some reasons that I think it's incredible. Now, if you sit down and have a group of people and you say, hands up, who is a train person or a plane person, you'll probably be split pretty much down the middle because there are some advantages to flying, let's face it. I mean, if you were trying to get to Bali, for example, it's a 14-hour plane ride, but it's definitely not 14 hours by train, more like 4 weeks or longer. I mean, certainly it's faster to go by plane, but and in a way it's kind of more convenient. You can get to the airport, you can get on the plane and be in the place you want to be, and maybe cheaper, because some of the airlines now are doing all they can to get us back in the air, and the fares are cheaper than trains in some cases. But there's still so many reasons to consider traveling by train. So Cynthia lists her 5, and I'm going to just embellish on her story because I've got my own amazing train journeys. I think one of the first long train journeys I ever took was when I was in my early 20s, and I took a train I was in India. I flew to India, and I took a train from Calcutta to Chennai. And it was, I think, a 3-day train journey. It was just everything you could imagine about a train journey in India. It was crowded. I traveled just regular class. I didn't have enough money to go any other way, but it was just incredible. And it was the people, the energy, the experiences, the vistas, the whole thing was just so amazing. And maybe that was where I got my passion for trains. I really, from that point forward, always looked for train opportunities. And then of course, when I moved to United States and then to back to UK, trains became a way of life. And whenever I had an opportunity to take a train rather than, I didn't drive for many years of my life, but I would always choose trains. I just love them. I call them time machines. I just honestly feel like when you're in a train, you are looking back on your life, you're reflecting, you're thinking, you're remembering, but then you're hoping for the future. You're moving forward. You're going somewhere. You're going to a place perhaps that you've never been before. It's just that energy of travel in another dimension. I can't describe it. And if you if you talk to anybody who's passionate about trains, they start doing this. They get very passionate about the whole idea of train travel. So, what are some of the reasons to consider it? And by the way, are you a train person? Do you like trains, planes, or cars? What's your mode of transportation, your preferred mode? Well, of course, one of the first things is the ease of departure. I mean, when you get on a plane, you have to go to the airport, you have to queue, you have to go through security, you have to, there's all kinds of things you have to do in order to get on that plane. And of course, now with the pandemic, we've got tests and certificates and travel passes and all the other things that are required. But on a train, there's no long lines. Usually, you get to the train stations are often and usually in Europe right in the middle of town. They're right in the center of the town, so there's no getting on a bus or driving to an airport, which can often be like a long way out of town. So you just go to the center of town, you go to the train station, and you get on the train. You don't have to remove your shoes, your belts. You don't have to do X-rays. You just get on the train, find a seat or a reserved seat if you've done that. You can bring your own drinks on the train. There's no pouring your water out at the plane boarding area. You can take anything you want to eat. You can buy it in advance. Now, You can take bottles of liquids of all sizes. There's no checking of how much shampoo you've got or how much micellar water for your face, whatever. You can take any liquid you want on a train. And of course, you can say, well, that's not very secure, is it? But when you think about it, there have not been that many, sort of violent incidents on trains as there maybe have been on planes. Not that I'm trying to put you off flying. If you love flying, honestly, that's your way. But this is an article and this story is about trains, and I love them. So a few security checks, but I think it's still relatively safe. Now, space on a train, you just get on, you put your feet out, and miraculously, you can stretch them. It's like there's no one in front of you that's pushing their seat back with their, your drinks flying in your lap. Your carry-on bag can be just by your side. You've got overhead compartments to put your baggage if it's too big. And they have these racks on the trains, where as you get on, you can just pop your luggage as you walk to your seat, and then you slide them in that area. And then you don't think about them until you get off the train. And so luggage, feet space, convenience, it's all there on a train. The scenery. Okay, so probably this is the most spectacular part of train journeys for me. I just love gazing out of windows. I love watching houses go by. I love the mountains, the grassland, the countryside, even the shops. I mean, the churches, the odd buildings, the animals. You can just see it all, and you feel like you're just attached to the ground. It's just a different experience of the scenery, and not just the clouds as you whiz by in a plane. Now, of course, I do live in Switzerland right now, and that is a place which is beautiful trains. And there are some classic lines like the Glacier Express and the Bernina Express. There's the Voralpen, which is they all go through the Alps, and they go through beautiful mountain tunnels and bridges. And, of course, everybody knows that some of the greatest trains in the world are right here. But, there's in the United States, you've got the classics. You've got the Zephyr that goes from, where does it go from? Michigan to Northern California. I think you can actually take a train, of course, all the way across from New York to Seattle. And you may have to change a couple of times, of course, but you can get across. And the California Zephyr, I think, goes up the coast of California to San Francisco. It's just amazing. There's also another train, I did take it, called the Pioneer. I don't even know if it's running anymore, but it went across from, I think, Salt Lake City. It went up to Idaho and then across to Portland and Seattle that way. So I took that train, actually with my son when he was quite young. We had a little room to ourselves, and that was an experience for him as well. But anyway, it was really, really spectacular. I think the Pioneer may still be in it. I'm not sure. Does anybody know? But there's so many trains going across the United States, both for urban travel, getting to work on by train as opposed to driving, and then also across these cross-country ones. And a lot of the trains, certainly here in Switzerland, but in the UK or in the United States too, on Amtrak, which is really picking up its game, I think, from looking at the opportunities. Panoramic windows. In most of the carriages, you've got observation carriage where you can go and you literally are like floor to ceiling, surrounded with windows, and you can just be like you're just floating above the ground. So the trains are actually getting better, and of course you can actually. I say that I haven't been on the Amtrak in like 10 years, but certainly in Europe, the trains are amazing. And there's also night trains in Europe, so you can go from Zurich to Zagreb overnight. You can go to Prague, you can go to Berlin. Literally, you get on at midnight and you're there in the morning. And you have to, you can have a couchette with 4 beds, or you can have your own. There's so many options. It's really, really cool. Another thing, top train journeys, by the way, I wanted to read these to you because in case you're in any of these places, this is something you can take advantage of. So I don't know if this is in an order of like superiority or beauty or something, but the first one they list is the Blue Train, which is South Africa. The Settle Carlisle Railway in the UK. Leeds to Carlisle. I've never been on it. It's on my list. I don't know how I've missed that one. The Trans-Siberian Railway, of course, in Russia, and the Orient Express, which goes from London to Venice and Istanbul. Eastern and Oriental Express is another one that goes Singapore and everywhere. It's just amazing. The Hejaz Jordan Railway, I've never heard of that, but it goes through Syria and Jordan. Palace on Wheels, that's in India. I did have a ticket for that once, and then there was an earthquake and I didn't go. But yeah, remember that. It goes from Jaipur, it goes up to in Gujarat, and it goes all over to Delhi, Mumbai. It's beautiful. or maybe not Mumbai, mostly Rajasthan, but it's really, really lovely from the pictures anyway. Glacier Express here in Switzerland, and the Jambo Kenya Deluxe, which is in Kenya, and apparently it's spectacular too. But you know, almost any train you jump on, but those are the top 10 that they list. So freedom of movement, as I said, you can get up and move around. It's especially good with kids. If you actually have a grandchild, I have a grandson who absolutely loves trains, just like me. I mean, well, he knows more about trains, I think, at 5 years old than I will in a million years. He's really interested. He studies them. He knows where they go, and he knows what they have inside them. But it's a great way to take children because they can move about, you know, supervised, of course. Finally, the camaraderie. Okay, none of us are having very much luck traveling these days, but we know that we can travel on the train and you just meet people. You know, I mean, I normally try to, you know, get a seat by myself and, you know, wear my mask. And on here, it's certainly right now, it's obligatory to wear a mask on any train, any length of distance. But, you know, it's just a way to meet new people who love trains. And we are a special breed, I think. So do you love trains? Are you a train lover? Leave your comments in the section below. Have you ever had a train journey that just stayed with you forever and ever? Or have you taken a grandchild with you on a train? Tell your stories. Let's have a good conversation about my passion for trains, your love perhaps of trains, or maybe not, so we can share. Okay, everybody. Well, please take care of yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, please like it for me so we can share it around YouTube. And again, subscribe to the channel if you love the videos we do. And just know that we care about you. We take good care, and sending you lots and lots of love. Bye-bye for now.